Among the treetops and branches, scurrying across neighborhood streets and forest floors, a fascinating yet oft overlooked story unfolds. An epic history woven within the fibers of the trees and grass, a tale wrought with mischief, intellect, and agility. The fascinating world of the squirrel and its vibrant culture is ever present all around us. The squirrel comes from the family Squirridae, which includes arboreal and ground-dwelling squirrels, as well as chipmunks and prairie dogs. To fully understand the modern squirrel, we must first trace him back to his origins around 47 million years ago. In the geological epoch known as the Eocene era, which millions of years ago the squirrel's earliest relative emerged. This prehistoric squirrel relative, known as the Copydodon, the distant relative of the modern squirrel, was a tree-dwelling rodent, which was just under 3 feet. Most of that length was from its tail. The Eocene era was the second epoch of the Paleogene period, which in turn was the first period of the Cenozoic era. This marked the first vestiges of modern flora, the likes of which remain worldwide and still flourish to this day, evolved from their earlier nascent forms. The squirrel has thrived and adapted as well, growing and evolving for eons alongside plants like the cashews, grapes, walnuts, and various hardwood trees, all which originated in the Eocene era. Today's squirrel has come a long way in those millions of years. He has broken off from his common ancestor and has spanned into over 200 variant species. Despite their diminutive size compared to its ancestors, the squirrel's intelligence has grown substantially, and he possesses a keen awareness of those around him. Social creatures by nature, the squirrel learns and copies other animals, especially other squirrels. As some squirrels learn to become master thieves, others learn the subtle arts of deception and subterfuge. If a squirrel feels he's being watched by another as he goes about hiding caches of food, he learned to pretend to hide his prize, only to take it elsewhere to bury when he no longer feels those observant eyes on his back. This proves his uncanny capacity of interpreting future events, keeping a watchful eye on the turn of seasons. The squirrel will gather and store food strategically, showcasing his ability to access chronology of past, present, and future. Collecting food for the squirrel is a full-time, year-round job. The squirrel does not hibernate and eats his body weight weekly, needing about 1.5 pounds of food per week. With such a voracious appetite, the squirrel is commonly seen brazenly working and bustling about in broad daylight. This diurnal rhythm sets the squirrel apart from most of his other rodent cousins, and if not for his bravery, we most likely wouldn't see the squirrel as often. The word squirrel comes from the Greek language and translates to shadow tail, a most apropos moniker. The squirrel is as cunning as he is nimble, giving him the cutting edge he needs to thrive in any environment. With his remarkable anatomy, the squirrel may leap 10 times its body length and withstand falls without injury from 30 meters or just under 100 feet. Whilst his tail can be used like a parachute and helps to equalize his balance, he may feel confident as he leaps from branch to branch or suspends himself from great heights. The squirrel's ankles can turn on 180 degrees, allowing him to face any direction while climbing. His hind legs are double-jointed, assisting in his speed and agility, while quickly running and scaling up and down trees and even 90-degree surfaces. The eyes of the squirrel evolved to give him the ability to see behind him. This impressive feature enables the squirrel to identify and track predators as he swiftly eludes them, vanishing into the trees or fleeing to places inaccessible to its pursuing pest. The life cycle of the squirrel sets it apart from its other rodent cousins. He has the longest lifespan amongst them and can be expected to live out its natural life in about 14 years with enough food and without predation. Of course, this varies squirrel to squirrel. with the ability to learn quickly and adapt to its environment. The squirrel's chances depend on his individual cunning and ability to put its wits to use daily as it navigates the often dangerous realms in which it calls home. The squirrel gestates in a period of about 40 to 44 days, and its young are born in litters of 1 to 9 babies. Also known as neonates, the squirrel babes are born hairless and blind and won't open their eyes until they are about 28 days old. Helpless, blind, and devoid of fur, the neonate will not be able to leave the nest on its own until it is about 42 days old. During this time, the neonate's mother will begin to wean her young from nursing and encourage the babies to venture out to begin finding food on their own. Even after the neonates mature to juvenile squirrels, they will return to their mother and their nest at the end of the day for warmth and safety. It is estimated that about 30% of the nuts and seeds buried by squirrels are never recovered. The lost seeds sprout into plants, adding life to the landscape and often rather unintentionally replenishing food supplies. The saga of the squirrel develops every day as these refined rodents explore, play, and learn, adapting new techniques and skills, all while life carries on at its fast pace. These brilliant animals keep up and thrive along with it, and despite their vast number of obstacles and dangers, the squirrel maintains its reign on the treetops, beneath the soil, and everywhere in between.